Good Wednesday morning, Central Georgia. You're taking a live look over the Georgia National Fairgrounds in beautiful Houston County. The time is now 6:30 a.m. here on this February the 15th. Thank you so much for staying with us. I'm Wanye Reese. We are already halfway through the month of February. That's so exciting. And Alex, if anybody is heading out this morning, they definitely might want to bundle up.
That's right. It is warmer than it was yesterday morning. However, still cool by Central Georgia standards out there. Talking about 40s on the board, 47 in Macon, 46 in Warner Robins. 48 waking up in Milledgeville and 46 over in Perry. We see we've got 45 on the board in Fort Valley. They were down to 41 earlier, 43 in Dudley, 45 in Irwinton, and 46 waking up in Jeffersonville. We got 41 down in Rochelle, 42 in McRae, and 46 in Vidalia. Now, our radar picture is quiet up towards the north, though, running into a few showers across northwest Georgia. Would not surprise me to see 2 or 3 of those find their way into our far northern areas, talking about Monroe County, Jasper, Putnam, before all is said and done. Across the southeast, it is a warm morning. The further west you get, 63 out in Columbus, 58 in Montgomery, 67 down in Pensacola and New Orleans. By the time we're talking tomorrow morning, we're going to be talking about those temperatures here in Central Georgia. 47 at the bus stop this morning, 74 at the bus stop this afternoon. So the jacket you're wearing this morning, you're not going to need for the afternoon. That will be our high for the day. Talking about more clouds than sun here in Central Georgia. However, into the next few days, we do have rain on the way during the overnight, Thursday and Friday, and have a great weekend. All those details in just a few moments.
Thank you, Alex. Well, a Macon man who claimed he was a pastor will serve 20 years out of a 45-year prison sentence after he admitted to raping a 14-year-old girl. Macon Bibb District Attorney Anita Reynolds Howard says a judge sentenced him on Monday. Howard says Donald Williams pleaded guilty to child molestation, sexual battery, and rape. She says in September of 2021, Williams lured the girl into his car, telling her he was a pastor. The release says Williams drove the girl to a dead-end street and assaulted her. He then drove to a balloon release in memory of a homicide victim to preach and kept the girl in his car. Later, he dropped the girl off near her home. Howard says Williams was already convicted as a sex offender in a Houston County case and was on the sex offender registry. We continue to learn new information in the shooting death of a man inside of a West Macon home. Bibb County Captain Brad Wolf believes deputies responded properly when they entered the home nearly 3 hours after the county's gunfire detection system alerted them of shots there. Wolf says deputies waited to enter because they wanted to confirm Jimmy Bradbury Jr. was in the home. The first deputy arrived on scene 40 minutes after a shot spotter alert about gunfire. Wolf says the deputy saw the gunshot damage to the home. They also found Bradbury's car in the driveway, but Wolf says one neighbor says Bradbury sometimes left his car at his home and that he may not be inside. Wolf says these are some of the reasons they didn't enter the home sooner.
Could we have gone in the house immediately when we got there? We could have. Would that have been the appropriate thing to do? It depends. Looking at the circumstances, I think they acted appropriately to wait and try to find where Mr. Bradbury was and be sure he was in the house before we entered the house and damaged the resident.
Right now, there's still no word on arrest in the case. Investigators say Bradbury was sitting in a recliner when he was shot and killed. If you have any information on this case, you should reach out to the Macon Regional Crime Stoppers. Their number, it's 1-877-68-CRIME. That number again for you at the bottom of your screen. It's 1-877-68-CRIME.
So every day you get up, put on your colors, you go meet your superior, and then you meet up and see what the activity for that day is. Whether we go do a drive-by or whether what head drug dealer we go see today to get the best deal to sell drugs.
It was a business.
It was a business, or organization, if you want to say that.
What role does Macon street gangs play in the increase of teen deaths? 13 Investigates Ashlyn Webb hears from a former superior in a Macon gang about how the gangs operate and how they drive violence and how he got out. Tomorrow night at 11, we'll continue our series called In the Crosshairs, The Risk and Remedies of Teen Violence. It's 6:34 on your Wednesday morning. The fentanyl crisis continues to impact the lives of Central Georgians. Chris County now reports 4 overdoses this past weekend. Sheriff Billy Hancock says 2 men ages 23 and 29 died from fentanyl overdoses.
What I want people to understand is that just because you get it from a friend or somebody, you don't know the makeup of that drug.
So Hancock says in the last 12 months, they've had to take close to 11,000 pills off the streets. Since 2022, the Chris County Police saved 16 lives with Narcan. But what makes the death so heartbreaking is that the Chris County community is so tight-knit. Coroner Ricky Dawson Jr. says 4 overdoses all happened on Saturday, February the 11th.
2 passed away within an hour, and it's sad. We have a population of less than 20,000, and for this monster to come to a small town like this, it's scary.
Coroner Dawson says in the last 12 months, Chris County has had more than 20 overdose deaths. In May of 2022, Hancock launched a fentanyl awareness campaign. The goal is to collaborate, educate, and enforce. Narcan, it can save lives. The CDC says you can get the drug at your pharmacy with no prescription. It's easy to use and small enough to carry. If you find yourself needing to use it, here are some tips to remember. You should always first dial 911, then tip the patient's head back and place the tip of the nasal spray into the nostril. Your fingers should touch their nose. Firmly press the plunger with your thumb. Wait 2 to 3 minutes for a response. Give additional doses if there's no response until help arrives. 6:36, if you're tired of potholes and broken up pavement, there's a plan to get road upgrades more quickly around Macon-Bibb County. Our morning reporter TJ Anthony explains county commissioner's possible solution. Good morning to you, TJ.
Good morning, Wani. That's right. The county manages about 1,100 miles of roads, but only repaves about 10 miles each year. And they want to change that and basically double their speed. So right now, they primarily rely on grant money from GDOT to fix up the roads. A new proposal would actually change all of that. Now, commissioners just on Tuesday voted to spend $2.5 million from the county's general fund to allow the county crews to do the work themselves. Now they'll be able to work on GDOT funded and Macon-Bibb funded projects simultaneously.
The fact that we can allocate 5 times the amount of local funds directed at roads tell the community that we're serious about this, and we've heard their concerns, and we're going to do it as quickly as possible and as efficiently as possible.
And the county still needs to have a second vote next week to finalize all the plans. The county ranks the roads on a scale from 1 to 5, and 5 being the worst condition. Mayor Miller believes by 2025, they'll actually have all the level 4 and 5 roads completed, Wanya.
Sounds good, TJ. Thank you so much for that. Big changes will soon come to Houston County High School. The school is getting a new principal. The Board of Education named Jay Jones to the position. Jones is currently the high school's assistant principal. He's been an educator since 2005. Current principal Douglas Reiser will leave this spring to become head of operations for the Houston County School District. Well, CTAE, that's a high school pathway of study focusing on career, technical, and agricultural education. It covers a lot of different topics, right? According to her students, this week's top teacher gets an A in kindness. Our junior journalist, Sabel Schuster, introduces us to her.
We are at Crawford County High School, where this week's teacher looks out for the students in her classroom and beyond. Let's go surprise her now. Good morning, Mrs. Popham. I'm junior journalist Sabel Schuster, and you're this week's My Teacher's Tops.
Oh, that is so awesome. Thank you.
At Crawford County High School, a group of students say there's no more deserving teacher than their own Mrs. Rachel Popham. She's a pretty new teacher, just 3 years. Even so, she's like a mom to her students. Mrs. Popham teaches health sciences to all grades of high school. Some students she's had for multiple years. Bailey Carricker wrote an email about Mrs. Popham, but she was off campus at a basketball game, so her friend Stevie Dorna read the letter for her. It explains how Mrs. Popham makes sure her students are taken care of.
She is like a mom to all of her students. Hungry? Don't worry, she has tips specifically for her students. Thirsty? There's a case of water bottles in my office. Feeling under the weather? Don't worry, she's already texted the nurse that you're on the way.
So they're almost like elementary kids, but they're bigger, so we get along better. And just the bonds that we're able to create because they are older and they're going through life things. So I just like to be able to, be a listening ear or whatever they need.
Congratulations, Mrs. Popham. Students, keep sending in those nominations. We might just come to your school next. Reporting in Roberta, I'm junior journalist Sabel Schuster.
A big congrats to her. Our junior journalists love to surprise your top teachers, so be sure to send in your nominations. Students can do that by writing us a letter or email. Send letters to 1314 Gray Highway, Macon, Georgia 31211, or just email us at myteacherstops@13wmaz.com. You can also send us a video on the 13WMAZ app. Make sure to include your name, your teacher's name, and what school you attend. Be sure to get a parent to help you upload that video, and our JJs might just surprise your teacher next. We're starting to learn more about some of the long-term complications from COVID-19. How research now shows the virus increases the risk of diabetes is next. Plus, as we continue to celebrate Black History Month, we're shedding light on culture in our community. Coming up here, how a Black radio station focuses on giving back. It's now 6:40. Before you roll out the door, Alex has a check of your forecast. Good morning, Alex.
Good morning, Wanya. You can break the phones out because the sunrise this morning, it is about to come up, and I have a feeling it's going to be pretty picturesque with the high clouds we're looking at here over the Georgia National Fairgrounds. It is still a cool morning here in central Georgia. 45 the current number in Perry, the dew point of 37 right now. 47 in Macon, 48 in Gordon, 43 over in Dublin right now, 41 down in Eastman and in Rochelle, 42 in Cordele. The southerly wind, light southerly wind, is continuing, and that is part of the reason why we are all 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 14 degrees warmer than we were 41 minutes after 6 yesterday morning. Now, we don't have any showers here in central Georgia. Up towards northwest Georgia and northern Georgia, there are some. We could see 1 or 2 of those find their way into, say, Monroe, Jasper, Putnam counties during the morning hours today. But back off to the west, much warmer conditions, and by the time we're talking tomorrow morning, we're going to be talking about 50s here in central Georgia as opposed to 40. So through the day today, going to call it mostly cloudy, 66 or so by the noon hour, getting into the 70s later on today. I think we top off somewhere right around 74. Then once we head into the night tonight, the clouds building in, the temperature's not cooling off all that much, and for tomorrow afternoon, that means we're going to warm up even warmer than we are today, talking about high temperatures closer to 80 in a few spots across central Georgia. But then by the time we get to Thursday night, here comes the line of storms across Interstate 85 on our doorstep by the midnight hour, 2 a.m., bringing a line of heavy rain through Eatonton, Forsyth, Monticello, over towards the northern extents of Crawford County. And it's going to take from 2 until about 10 or 11 to clear all of central Georgia. So just in time to head to work and school tomorrow morning, we are going to be talking about a steady rainfall here in Macon and in Warner Robins. Then by the noon hour, clearing out Forsyth, Milledgeville, Macon, Warner Robins, the back edge of the rain, Eastman, Dublin, Wrightsville, and that will move out by the time we get to Friday afternoon and evening. Now, for the day tomorrow, there is a level 3 severe weather risk from Ohio down through Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama. We are clipped by a level 1, and remember, the storm's coming through during the overnight hours, so we'll see how that translates to Friday, but as of now, don't have an update on that just yet. However, once we get into the weekend, we will not be talking about a rain chance in central Georgia. Clear on Saturday, clear on Sunday as well. We'll carry that into the first part of next week as in addition to that. So more clouds than sun today, 74 the high temperature. It will be warmer than yesterday. Then for tonight, 53. That southerly breeze will continue, not quite as cold as we are this morning. Mercer baseball coming back this weekend, 65 on Friday with that rain chance early in the day, then cooler for the weekend ahead, 57 on Saturday, 66 on Sunday, and there is that 7-day forecast. Once we get into next week, the cooler weather not sticking around for long. We'll be back to 72 by President's Day on Monday, and on Tuesday, how about back closer to 80, 78 the high there.